Hello my dear friends, I'm Simple Batra here again today with MIS lecture 26, and we are going to cover today expert systems in detail, covering all the questions which can come up in the exam and concepts completely with the applications of expert system. It will really help me to improve the future videos. So let's start. So today we'll be covering why expert systems must be used, what are the expert systems exactly, how do the expert systems work, what all are the components of expert system, applications and examples of expert system, benefits, advantages of expert system or the limitations of expert system. So why the expert systems must be used? What are its basic characteristics? It has no emotions, as if the normal human beings might get confused with their emotions for doing a particular task in the organization. It doesn't get confused with the emotions at all. It has a high efficiency in doing its work, expertise in a particular domain, because expert systems are developed on the particular domain only. Again, it has a no memory limitation. There is no limitation of the memory while using any expert system. Regular updates improve the performance because it is very essential to update the expert systems on the periodically basis by the human experts. That is why they are always updated. And they have a high security implemented at their backend to give you a very good high performance experience which is secure in nature itself. And it considers all the facts about a particular domain for which it has been developed actually. In case there is a one system in which we are entering the symptoms of a particular disease and it is giving you back the result of the particular disease which can be related to those symptoms for a particular patient. This is how the expert systems work without the intervention of any human being. Moreover, expert systems give a very high efficiency in the results based on the certain set of rules. We can also say that we have artificial intelligence these days. We do have a database technologies which are working at the back end. So we have a beautiful combination of artificial intelligence and database technology. When they both can be combined together, there can be the number of intelligent techniques emerging due to this, which can help many organizations in capturing the individual or collective knowledge, so that it can be stored in a particular knowledge base. Such kind of intelligent techniques that organizations can use to capture individual and collective knowledge and to extend their knowledge base. Knowledge base is basically a storage area where we are storing all the knowledge which is gathered through the knowledge management systems here basically. So, we'll be talking about knowledge management systems also in the coming up sessions, but for today, knowledge base stores all the knowledge pertaining to the particular domain for which the expert system will be developed. Now, the expert systems, case-based reasoning and fuzzy logic are used for capturing the tactic information or the tactic knowledge. What does it mean here first? Firstly, when we say tactic knowledge, it means it is all that knowledge which cannot be expressed easily, which can only be felt with the years of experience of a particular professional or an expert. So, showing that particular information or knowledge which has been gathered through the experience of so many years, so many learning, it can be said as tactic knowledge. And all expert systems, case-based reasoning and fuzzy logic, these three are the intelligent techniques basically which work on capturing such kind of tactic knowledge. And today we'll be talking about expert systems. So what are expert systems? They are intelligent technique which capture the tactic knowledge in a very specific and limited domain of a human expertise. Whatever can be done through the human expertise in a limited domain, that is computerized through the expert systems by capturing all the tactic knowledge about that particular domain or area. Now, capturing knowledge of skilled employees as a set of rules in a software system that can be used by others in the organization. The set of rules in the expert system adds to the memory or stored learning for the firm. This is very, very important. In the expert systems, all those skilled employees who have a learning and experience of so many years, they are used for capturing some data, knowledge about a particular domain in which a particular organization is dealing. All those employees help out in giving the knowledge whatever they have gained through their experience of so many years, and a set of rules are generated based on that particular knowledge given by those employees in a software system. Now these set of rules become a permanent part of the expert system and are stored in the memory for the futuristic learning also. Now, which kind of tasks can be performed by any expert system? That may take a few minutes to hours basically. Such kind of all tasks can be done through an expert system. For example, diagnosing the malfunctioning of a machine. A particular machine is not working properly. What can be the problem in it? It can be diagnosed through an expert system. Determining whether to grant credit for a loan or not. If you have to credit a loan, a optimized system, expert system can check if the conditions are true, it can be credited. If it is false, it cannot be credited. So, they are used for discrete and highly structured decision making. As we have seen that highly structured decision making is done at the top level of management. So, basically expert systems are used by the top level management. This also we have to understand. See, when we talk about working of an expert system, the idea is how a human being works, how the human being processes the information. It can be represented or modeled to the computer. A human job is to be replaced by a computer machine. So, the modeling or representation of the human knowledge must be done properly here. The model of human knowledge used by expert systems is called as the knowledge base. This particular modeling of human knowledge in expert systems is done through the knowledge base. Knowledge base is the storage area where the human knowledge is modeled or represented and stored in the expert systems. I'll give you a glimpse through a small example here firstly. Later on we'll go with a detailed example in the coming up slides. But for now, basically you have a standard programming constructs, if then construct, which is used in the expert systems for evaluating the various conditions. If the condition is true, then the action is taken. If the condition is false, the action is not taken. See, the condition given here is if income is about $45,000. This is the condition given. Then print the name and address, otherwise do not print. So the action here is to print the name and address. If the condition is true, print it. If the condition is false, leave it. Now the rules on which the expert systems actually work. Here is an example on the screen where we are talking about the set of rules which are generated for banking credit system. Number one, expert system basically has a set of rules which are to be followed by an expert system. All the rules are interconnected. The number of outcomes is known in advance, but they are limited because we want a high performance rules to be set in the beginning. There are multiple paths to the same outcome and the system can consider multiple rules at a single time. There is no such condition that only one path or one condition can be followed. At a particular moment, multiple conditions, multiple rules and multiple paths can also be followed in the expert system to come to the final outcome. Here we are talking about simple credit granting expert system, where an expert system checks if the credit can be granted or not to the particular customer. Here in all the rectangles you will find the multiple conditions which will be checked by the expert system at various levels, and here you have final decisions based on these multiple conditions. In this way, the set of rules are applied. Similarly, in disease diagnosis system, the various symptoms will be checked and the various symptoms need to be combined together to come to the final outcome. Before we move on, it is very important to remember that an expert system is not used to replace the human experts. These systems are used to assist any human being. These systems have no human knowledge basically and no human capabilities, but they work on the basis of the knowledge base which has been created in an expert system. How expert systems actually work? When we have set of rules, these set of rules can be hundreds or thousands in number and they are stored in the knowledge base. Who works on these set of rules? These set of rules are worked upon by this inference engine. So, two things are very important. One is knowledge base, which contains the set of rules of the expert system on the basis of which the decision is taken. Number two, the inference engine. Basically, inference engine uses the strategy to work upon these set of rules. Now, there are two kinds of approaches or strategies which can be applied in the inference engines. One is called as forward chaining and the other is called as backward chaining. When we say the forward chaining means inference engine takes the input from the user, combines all the inputs and then comes up with some final output. When we talk about backward chaining, here the approach is opposite. It begins with a hypothesis where if the patient is complaining about some kind of stomach ache, they relate it to some kind of stomach infection in the very beginning and they keep on asking the patient what all you feel, how you feel, what other symptoms are, and they try to confirm that if he has a stomach infection or it can be the urine infection. What are the components of expert system? Number one is the human expert who is giving the tactic knowledge to the knowledge engineer who is storing all the information or the knowledge given by this human expert in the knowledge base in the form of set of rules. Now this particular inference engine, it works upon this particular knowledge base which is the set of rules of a particular domain and tries to find out some outcome or the final result for which the expert system is looking for. Next, what is an interface? Interface is the medium through which this expert system and the end user actually interacts. See, the end user can be an expert or a naive user or somebody who has a little bit knowledge of expert system. This interface helps any end user to communicate very well with the expert system, and if the end user has any kind of queries, it is also given by the interface only. Interface is also responsible for taking inputs from the user and giving outputs back to the user. Now, what are the human experts and knowledge engineers? See, the human experts are one or more persons who have a knowledge of a particular domain and they can give inputs for the knowledge base to the knowledge engineer. These knowledge engineers actually translate the knowledge given by the human experts in the form of set of rules in the knowledge base. See, the human experts and knowledge engineers must have a complete knowledge of the expert systems and the domain for which they are working. UI, as I have already explained, it is the user interface which helps even a non-expert user to communicate with the expert system. Now, what is an inference engine? This particular component works upon the rules, searches within the rules and fires those rules which are triggered by the facts which are gathered and entered by the user. Say the user is entering some facts, figures and inputs given to the expert system, and upon these input the set of rules are fired by the inference engine, and this inference engine works upon those set of rules and come up with some outcome, and these rules are the set of nested if-else statements. In an expert system, there is a probability that there is a very big number of statements of nested if-else statements. See, as given here in the example, multiple rules are given and inference engine goes through these rules to come up with some outcome which are given at the end. There are basically two types of inference engines. First is deterministic, second is probabilistic inference engine. What is the major difference between two? Deterministic inference engine means such kind of inference engine which is based on certain facts and rules and which assumes that the conclusions which will be drawn are assumed to be absolutely true. There is no probability of error here. And the probabilistic inference engine talks about some kind of uncertainty in the conclusions and they are based on probability basically. Now the fifth component is knowledge base. When we talk about the knowledge base, it is a kind of database which contains all the information about a particular domain or a subject. Since the expert system is developed for a particular domain or a subject, that is why the set of rules of a particular domain or a subject is stored in a knowledge base here. So, the knowledge base stores the knowledge acquired from the different experts of a particular domain. There are two components of knowledge base majorly. One is factual knowledge, other is heuristic knowledge. The knowledge which is based on facts and accepted by knowledge engineers comes under the factual knowledge. The other kind of knowledge which is based on the practices basically and which is the ability to guess, evaluate and is based on experiences. Such kind of knowledge is heuristic knowledge here. So now lastly the end user, that is a particular person or a group of people who are actually using the expert systems. There are two examples given on the screen of the expert systems now. They can also be called as the applications of expert systems. When we talk about mycin, it is the oldest expert system which is designed upon the backward chaining. And it has a capability to identify the infection which is causing bacteria. So this is basically used for bacterial infections and controls the acne. Second one is de-explain. This is again an expert system which is capable of diagnosing a number of diseases in a patient based on the inputs provided to it. Benefits and advantages of an expert system. Number one, 24/7 without any kind of human intervention, any expert system can work. That is its beauty. Again, wherever human experts or human people cannot work, expert system is the best solution. Number three, knowledge base is prepared on the basis of knowledge given by all the human experts of a particular domain, and all the knowledge engineers translate it very accurately into the set of rules in the knowledge base. So the probability of error in the knowledge base is very less, which gives it a very good performance level. Since it's a machine, a human expert doesn't get tired, has no emotions, no fatigue. Point number 5, when we talk about how speedily it gives the result of a particular query of an end user, it gives it amazingly. Jumping to limitations of an expert system. Number 1, In case there is a small error in any kind of knowledge base or a set of rules, it can make it to a big problem. Number 2, human being is always creative, can give the output in the multiple ways to the end user and explain it to the end user much better than a machine. So, like a human being, it cannot produce the creative outputs many times. Third limitation, maintenance cost is very high, development cost is very high. That is its big limitation. Fourth point, expert systems work on the basis of knowledge. So the right knowledge acquisition, complete knowledge acquisition and knowledge presentation in a correct manner becomes difficult. Point 5. For a specific domain only, a particular expert system can be developed. It cannot do anything itself. It is not a human being, so it cannot learn from itself. It always requires the updations by the human beings, which is done manually. So today we have learned all the questions of an expert system. Our next topic will be the decision support system. I'll come soon back with this decision support system lecture, MIS lecture 27, quite soon. Till then, bye bye, take care, have a nice time, have a wonderful life.